Welcome to Welcome to Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 3. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. And I'm going to repeat that. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. Our hearts are shattered beyond repair, especially when we lose our loved ones. The only comfort that we have is knowing that God's heart also breaks when ours break, and that He feels our sorrow and He knows our pain. We are His beloved children. He is steadfast in His love because His love is beyond our understanding. When a child falls, don't the mother step in quickly to scoop up that child, to bandage the wound? God is no different. We need to be thankful that He is such a loving God. No matter how broken, no matter how shattered our hearts are, no matter how much grief we go through, how much sorrow we have, He too knows and understands your pain. To prove to you, because everything we're looking to answer for, it says it's right here in the scriptures. God's way of proving to you that He understands and that He knows the grief, pain of losing a loved one is in the very scriptures where it says Jesus wept. Now see, He knew He was going to fix Lazarus. He knew He was going to heal him. But yet He still cried. When He went to go raise that little girl from the dead, He went in there and He told them all to be quiet, to stop crying, that the child was asleep, because He knew what He was about to do. But at that moment, when it came to Lazarus, when He was speaking to Mary and Martha, He didn't tell them to be quiet and stop crying and quit all this mourning, that Lazarus was just sleeping. No, He wept with them. He wanted to show that He understands and how sad that they was. That He too was very saddened and heartbroken that he had died of his illness. He knows your pain. He knows your suffering. There's different griefs because there's different kind of losses. Because by saying that is, there's a lot of different people in this world, and a lot of different people love differently, and a lot of people are a lot closer to certain people. So one handling a loss of somebody is a little bit more greater than somebody else who left somebody. Jesus loved Lazarus, and it broke him. He cried with them because his sisters were very, very dear to Lazarus. They was very, very close. Next to Jesus, Lazarus was their almost everything. And I extremely know exactly what that's like. Growing up and being totally on my own, having nobody, and then finally meeting somebody. And to me, they was my everything. Not only was it my loved one, but they was like my whole immediate family. He was everything all rolled up to one. And even though I knew Christ, I wasn't walking in Christ at that time. I had stepped away. I had him sitting on the back burner. So to me, that was my everything. And it crushed me. It crushed me. And then a couple of years later, I meet somebody else. And then he was taken from me. And it crushed me too. Now, I've never lost a child. I may have one that I'm not on speaking terms with, but that's not the same thing as a loss. I've lost my parents, lost my grandparents, and even though I wasn't very close to them, it still pained me at their loss. But that's why I say each loss hits different. So when people go to judge people on their grief and how long they mourn for somebody, nobody has a right to tell that person how to mourn, how to grieve, how long they should do it, when they should get over it. It's not up to you. It's not your loss. That is between them and God. None of it is your business. In fact, the only thing that you're supposed to do is the best thing you can do. Don't be quoting all these quotes that everybody says, oh, it'll get better with time. Don't do that crap. Don't do that. That is the worst thing you could ever say to somebody. You don't know how many people I just wanted to punch in the face for saying all those stupid things. Oh, girl, you're too young. You're so pretty. You'll find somebody else. And literally people tell me that on the day of my husband's funeral. You're so young and pretty, you'll find somebody else. The nerve. The nerve. Nobody wants to think about other people when they just lost somebody. The things that come out of people's mouths is because they don't care about that person the same way that you do. And because you're not the one who lost somebody, doesn't give you a right to determine when they should give up or when they should stop. That loss of that person is going to be for always ever gone. There is no getting over it. Sure, a little bit with time, it makes it easier to deal with the pain of loss. But there is no ever getting over it. If somebody was to cut off your arm or your leg and people keep telling you, just get over it. You're always going to be reminded every day that you do not have that arm. Yes, throughout the years, you have learned to go about your ways and may do and do things better because you no longer have the arm to do things without it. But you're never going to get over it. You're going to be reminded every day that you do not have that arm or that leg. How dare y'all tell somebody to get over something, especially any kind of loss. You may be sick and tired of hearing them always talk about them, but you just need to be their friend. See, that's the one thing that the friends of Job did not do. The first thing they did, they sat there and be quiet for 3 days and just let him be in quietness. But then after that, when they opened up their mouth, all they did was pass judgment. They was not actually there for them. They were saying all the wrong things that you could say to somebody, making it their fault. Showing them all the things that they have done wrong. And that they must have did something to deserve this loss. It's no different than the silly things that we come up to tell people at funerals, these cliche things that people like to tell people when they lost somebody. It is ridiculous. We're supposed to do nothing but do Jesus' example and just cry. And that's it. Cry. Let them see that you understand and that you are too saddened. Other than that, just leave it alone. And let them do with what they've got to do. No matter how long it takes. No matter how long they grieve. Just be there for them in the correct way. You never know, because one day you might be in their spot. And then you too will understand the shatteredness of your heart being ripped out